give us your spin on this, if you don't mind, and then we'll just go through the questions as they occur, okay?
Sure.
So why don't you take us through that process and where we should go?
Yeah, so obviously the purpose of the revaluation is to bring assessments back to market value, eliminate inequities throughout the municipality, and then get back into compliance with the Department of Revenue's equalized
Miles,
value.
pull the mic closer to you, we
Sorry.
can't hear.
Sure. Is that better?
No.
What happened here, laddie?
Is it off?
I believe it's on. Is that better?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you guys be
Hold it
close.
closer.
You might have to hold it.
Yeah, you might,
You might, yeah.
just don't break out
It
in
would
the
be
song.
better.
All right, I'll just hold it. So yeah, the main difference between the exterior and the interior obviously is with an exterior, we're not trying to get into every property, into every home. With the interiors, if somebody isn't home, either way, interior, exterior, we'll leave a tag, let them know we're on the property. Interiors, what we do is we ask them to call us back, and we try to schedule a time to do a walkthrough of the interior with them that works for them. You know, with the exterior, so if you see the interior PRC questionnaire section under optional add-on assessment services, the property record questionnaire is something that we provide that goes along with the exterior revaluation, and that's something that we would mail out at the beginning of the assessment process. It kind of gives the property owners a voice, let them participate in the process, and that's this sheet here with the property record questionnaire on the top. Kind of helps us learn things we don't know about the interior properties. And that is something that we would need to know at the beginning of the process if you guys decide to go with the exterior and you want to do the interior property record questionnaire. This other form that I provided that has our name at the top of it, and it says request to view property notice. That's a sample. And that would be mailed out approximately 2 weeks before we start visiting properties. Kind of gives a breakdown. Second paragraph breaks down what will happen so the property owners know what we'll be doing on their property. The third paragraph is you know, kind of when we'll be there, and then how they would be able to identify us. And then the fourth paragraph is kind of the timeline of the entire assessment process that includes, you know, open book and border review. And then the final handout that I had that says Town of Sevastopol 2022 Market Update Revaluation. Again, this is just a sample of something that we provide, and this would be sent out with the actual assessment notices to the property owners. It's kind of an informational insert, help educate the property owners with the assessment process and answer some questions they might have. Provide some additional information as far as the open book, how that works, where they can find the assessment roll online, and then information on the Board of Review. As far as the actual revaluation, it's based on monthly basis, percentage billing based on what work is done during the month. You mentioned that you were looking at 2023, so at this point, if it was a 2023, it'd be billed in full per month. You know, if you guys waited to do something in 2024, we'd be able to kind of spread the cost out. We could start field work at the end of 2023 and bill it for the end of the month or at the end of the year there based on what work we get done per month in 2023, and then spread out the rest of the additional cost over 2024 and potentially do a final payment in January of 2025 if you wanted to do it in 2024.
Okay. So if you're, take me through the process. If you go to somebody's property,
Sure.
Are you entitled to go onto that property? Does it require any special permission? Or if someone says, stay off my property, you're basically history?
Correct. So as assessors, the trespassing laws don't apply to us as far as one visit per year. We're allowed to visit any property once per year.
Okay.
However, if a property owner calls and lets us that they prefer us to not be on their property, then we don't visit the property, as well as if somebody asks us to leave the property, we would leave the property.
Okay.
And then just to, I guess, touch base on what we would do at each property, always knock on the door first, and then explain what we're doing there. We update photos, verify all of our information as far as sketch of the house, take measurements, check on the outbuildings, make sure our record's up to date, basically. So.
If you did 2023, just from a timeline perspective, you would start January and you would try to get the field work done by,
So if we're doing 2023, the fieldwork would probably start sometime in spring to summer.
Okay.
So the open book and border review would definitely be pushed back more in like the September, October timeframe is when it would be finalized.
okay. Does the board have any questions with respect to these different options, feelings?
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
Of course. If no one is home, can you walk around the property, the exterior, without?
We can, again, because as an assessor, you get
Okay.
one visit per year without the
All right.
trespassing laws.
And then my second question, does the state insist on, or do they, do they care about whether it's an exterior reval only, or are they more interested in a full evaluation with entry into the premise? They don't care
No,
one way or
it's
the
just
other?
as long as you're in compliance.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anyone else from the board? How about our real estate agent, are we?
Retired.
We good? Okay, just checking. The only thing I questioned was inside the letter, that is the Town of Sevastopol Market Update Reval. I mean, you've already your letter says the overall increase should be. I think you might want to just change that, at least from a draft perspective, to decrease or increase. I mean, it presupposes a lot right off the bat, but.
Yeah, again, that's just a sample from another
I
municipality.
understand. I just read it and I thought, wow, before we even get there, we've already increased it, so leave that portion blank.
Yeah, it's,
Bold type bill that.
Yes, in bold.
Yeah, and board, exactly. Bold.
I thought it was the first thing I thought. I thought, wow. Welcome and thank you to 2023.
I have a question now.
Yes.
What, if we decided to do a reval next year in 2023, what is our deadline for committing to you?
so we'd need to know that probably by the end of September.
Okay. Any discussion relative to your feelings?
I do, and Miles, chime in if you can. Is there any way we can set it up timeline-wise where we don't have a 2-month completion to timing of taxing? Like what Sturgeon Bay did?
I'm not sure I followed, Derek.
Because if you do the reval and then the BOR would be in October,
Right?
it would essentially be on January's tax
Correct.
increase, so that it only gives you a 2-month notice of an increase.
Well, I think the issue in Sturgeon Bay, do you do the assessments or the work?
I am the assessor for Sturgeon Bay, but I wasn't during their revaluation. But
I think what happened there was it was a double hit. They did the revaluation, and at the same time, the school district in Sturgeon Bay had a referendum, which was approved.
Sure.
And so I think people got a double whammy. They got the reassessment and they got the referendum money. And I think that, from some people I know, that I think was the major factor. I don't know otherwise.
Yeah, and so another thing too, with the revaluation, just because assessments are going up doesn't technically mean that your tax bill is going to increase.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's just a redistribution of the current tax levy, basically, from the prior year, more or less.
Your letter would say a decrease, Derek.
I hope so.
But typically, just to touch on the timeline, typically, all of our revaluations, it gets finalized in the September, October timeframe. Might be able to get it done by August, but typically that's the timeframe we're looking at.
Okay.
You recall when we did the last Board of Review, Linda, in 2006,
2006?
7? I mean, that was pretty late in the, it was just before your,
Yeah.
Last assessment,
I'm
not
sorry,
board review.
yeah.
Revaluation.
Yeah, reval in
Yeah, I think it
2006.
was 2006.
Yeah, and was it late? Do you remember when in the fall of that
I
year?
wanna
I don't recall
No,
myself.
I don't think it was cold out. I don't remember.
Okay, no big deal. Anyway, does that answer your question, Derek? Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts on this? Do you have any feelings that we should attempt to accomplish this in 2023?
Nancy has a question.
Sorry, Nancy?
I have just a comment. With inflation and, all the costs that people are incurring now and people are somewhat hurting. I don't know if you wanted to delay it or not, but I think it might hit some people hard.
I don't know that that's good feedback. I don't know whether I don't know what our thoughts are here. I mean, I think it's obvious we gotta do it.
We have to do it.
So
Right.
whether we do it in 23 or 24, I mean, and we don't have to make that decision tonight. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll just hold it over to next month. We'll let you know mid-September whether we're gonna do 23 or 24 and hold open the timeline.
Sure.
All right?
Would the price remain the same whether we decide in 2023 or 2024?
Yeah, this contract's technically good through 2026.
So that third bullet down where total cost, which includes personal property and mailings and all that, we're looking at $153,000, right?
Correct, and that's for the exterior.
That's for the exterior.
Yeah, so that's the total cost, and then if you wanted to add in that interior property record questionnaire, that would be an additional $5,400.
Oh, that would be in addition to that? So that
Yeah, so
interior PRC questionnaire is an additional $5,400 no matter what?
correct, because it would go along, it's an addition to the exterior evaluation, it's not required.
It's in that number.
It is.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, I'm.
Maintenance, personal property, yeah. So 153, 225 plus 5,400.
If you want to do the questionnaire, correct.
Do we have to do the questionnaire?
You don't, it's just another option, another way for the property owners to get involved and for us to gain interior information knowledge for them if they reply to us.
It's not mandatory.
It's not mandatory, no.
What type of response would you typically get on something like that, Mel?
Yeah, so typically right now, on average, interior inspection, if we're doing full interior, our insurance rate is somewhere in like the 30 to 45%. Property record questionnaire is also around that range as far as what's getting returned to us.
Maybe you should do our broadband survey.
So would that be 60% then? Or so you get the 30% of ones you actually go to, 30% from the survey, or is it overlap? I mean, obviously there's gonna be some overlap, right?
Typically, the interior questionnaire isn't sent out for a full revaluation.
No, I mean, so like if they send the questionnaire back, are you still gonna go in on those, or if you get enough information from them, is that one you don't have to go?
So if it's just an exterior only, which is what the interior questionnaire would come along with, we wouldn't go into the interior of any home.
But no, but if we do the interior, we do the add-on, that's the interior questionnaire, correct? Is that what that was, the interior questionnaire?
Right, but typically if you do the interior full revaluation, you wouldn't go ahead and do the interior property record questionnaire because it's already intended that we'd be going.
Oh,
If
gotcha.
we do the external,
That's
we
here.
wouldn't do it
Yeah.
at all.
Right.
Right. Okay, in terms of what's up. All right. Anything else?
Well, and this property record questionnaire that I, as the homeowner, fill out, I mean, hopefully people are filling it out correctly, that I'm gonna put my houses in poor condition so it gets a low assessment.
Right, and it's not, we don't take it verbatim by any means. We definitely review it, and we're still gonna visit the property on the exterior, so if it's obvious that there's some discrepancies, we take that into account. We don't just enter the information that's provided, we review it.
Q?
Two quick education questions.
Sure.
Is this only residential properties, or is it all?
It's the entire municipality, so vacant land, farmland, commercial, anything. Yep.
So then one question I have is relative to the context of the revaluation. If I have a garage, and I just have a garage to store stuff, but my next door neighbor has a garage and uses it for auto repair, do you take the context of how the asset is used relative to the revaluation?
Yeah, if something is being used for a commercial purpose, it would be assessed as a commercial property.
How long's your neighbor been working in their garage?
Well, then this means then that what the town can do is provide the appraisers with the addresses of the homes that are operating in short-term rentals. That's clearly That's not operating as a residential property, it's not just a house.
business.
That came up at the
Came up
border
at the border
review.
review.
Miles, can you
Yep,
know what
so
he's
that's-
referring?
So it's also a highest and best use issue. So for a residential property, the highest and best use would be for that property owner to sell it as a residential property, not as a rental business. When we're talking about something that's a single-family home.
They get a pass on it.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
That's
They
what he's
assess it
saying.
as a person, as a residence.
They get a pass.
Yeah, and I think, didn't you say, Miles, that the guidance has not come down from the state in any way, shape, or form with respect to dealing with STRs?
Yep, it's kind of in discussion right now all around with the assessors, yeah.
Okay. Something for you could work on, though, you.
Who's gonna ask that, 'cause I already know.
Thank
All
you.
right. Anyone else have a comment? If not, we'll move on. Thank you for coming, Miles, and
Yes,
we'll get
Miles.
back to you next month.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
We got one right here.
All right. So we're up to the financial reports. And in your packet, you have the account balances as of July 31st, the budget versus actual, January through July, and you have the transaction list by date. And I'm sure that Amy has something that she'd like to add to that.
I do. We have received our August settlement from the county, and it's the appropriate amount. And we have also received the bill from the tennis pickleball courts, and it's come in under what we were expecting.
Thank goodness.
You think it's good news? Okay.
Would that be for the asphalt, for what's completed today?
Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
They did not use extra gravel. That was the good news. Okay, anything else, Amy?
Nope, that's it.
All right, if not, there's no questions, motion to approve the financial reports.
I'll make that motion to approve the financial reports.
Motion by Derek, second by Mark, to approve the financial reports for the month of July. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Good, carried. Okay, everybody's had a chance to look at and sign the vouchers, bills, and claims? And if so, then a motion to approve those would be in order.
I'll move to approve the vouchers, bills, and claims for the period July 19th through August 15th, 2022.
Motion by Linda, second by Jeannie, approve the vouchers, claims, and bills. Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. All right. Commission minutes or committee minutes. We have the Park and Rec Committee minutes from June 22nd. And we have a copy of the Communications Technology Committee from June 29th. And we would need a motion to approve those and put them on file. And then if anyone has an oral committee report they'd like to make, we will do that. So,
I'll move to place those two sets of minutes, Communications and Technology and the Parks and Recs, on file.
all right, motion by Linda.
Second.
I think Derek squeezed it out.
Yeah.
Derek.
Okay.
Second by Derek. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No one. All right, motion carried. Anyone wishing to speak relative to their committee, anything that you'd like to chat about for a moment?
Yes, I would.
Ms. Vogel?
I just wanted to speak to the folks tonight. Hopefully, there's a lot listening, or will listen at the recorded version. But so our committee, the Communications Technology Committee, will meet again on Wednesday. At that time, we will look again at the internet service providers, the 4 that we are vetting, and we will decide whether we will send a request for proposal to all of them or just some of them. But the greatest emphasis I want to make tonight is the importance of, I know, survey fatigue, but the importance of this latest survey. It's called the Wiser Survey. And so I'm just going to read to you what this involves, and hopefully if anyone has any questions or comments, they certainly feel free to contact me. My phone number is on our website. So, Door County has hired a broadband coordinator and established a broadband committee to help guide the deployment of fiber to the premises, FTTP, throughout Door County. In addition, your local municipality has a committee that is working at a local level. That, of course, would be our Communications and Technology Committee. We need all residents, property, and business owners to participate in this survey to show what internet services are in place in the county. It is projected to cost $140 million for fiber to the premises in Door County. It is critical for us to obtain as much federal and state funding as possible and not leave anyone behind. Every survey completed can help. 1, the state obtain more federal funding for fiber. 2, the county and municipalities qualify and apply for more state and federal grants to help pay for fiber to the premises. We need you to complete this short 10-minute survey that includes an internet speed test from your home or business or both at fibernetdoorcounty.org. If you do not have internet access available at your home or business, again, if you do not have internet access available at your home or business, please fill out the paper survey and report it to the address provided. The other thing that we're going to talk about and probably take action on Wednesday is doing another mailing. So our intent is probably to saturate doing a rural route mailing. It'll also be less expensive. It'll probably cover more addresses than just in Sevastopol, but that's all right. If we can do it more cheaply, that's good. So this survey, this paper form that you're seeing up on the screen now, and I'm just read to you, that's in my hand, it can be obtained here at the office for you. There is a phone number. If you do not have service from home, there's a phone number that you can call for assistance in filling out the survey. So, you know, by all means, anyway, this survey is going to be put in a mailing, so keep your eyes posted for that, because don't just throw it in the trash, it's important, please. And again, the link is also on the Sevastopol Town website, so you can go there. We're trying to make this as painless as possible, and please, we got less than a 25% response from the Sevastopol survey we sent out for internet. This is extremely important. What's going to happen, as soon as the address is put in for your property with the speed test, a pin will drop on a map. And that means that the maps, the FCC maps, will be updated as they should be, because right now, as I said in here, the printed information, the maps are incorrect. They show a good share of our town, including other areas in the county that they say they're served by internet, but that is not true. So we have to make sure the maps get corrected so that we can do the best of getting funding that will be available to us. Yes, Nancy?
My husband filled out one. Can I fill out one too, or is it the same household so you don't need to?
Well, you can.
I mean, does it matter?
No, it
No.
literally says online, when you go to it, it says you can fill out as many as you want, but once your address is in there, that address is.
It's kind of redundant.
Yeah, it
Okay,
doesn't.
so
Yeah.
one
You know,
is-
like, if one or the other doesn't really understand what they're filling out, because it says I took it tonight, actually. It took me 3 minutes, and I have terrible service, so the 10 minutes I was kind of surprised by. They said it takes 10-minute survey.
Rule it slow.
Well, but if someone doesn't understand the technology, so maybe the other half does, maybe correct what he doesn't know, or she. Because a couple things on there I don't know, I didn't know a couple of things, and my download speed or whatever, I don't know.
You couldn't
If
do a
you
speed
did,
test?
yeah.
I did have a speed test, but then it asked for how many gigs or whatever I pay for, I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know, okay.
I just pay the bill.
I'll parody Jeannie's comments, because I think the thing that may have escaped a lot of our attention is the fact that Bailey's Harbor is moving ahead with this. And their investment in a small town of Bailey's Harbor is over $5 million. So you can anticipate that at our town, that commitment, if we move ahead with it, is going to be more than $5 million, and borrowed out over 10 and 15, 20 years, we don't know. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made, but the importance of the survey is the vehicle that we can go back to the PSC with and say, look, you have underrepresented our area in terms of throughput, and you should give us greater consideration for grants than you have given us in the past. We have applied for 2 grants in the past and have been denied twice. So with the proper input, maybe we can make the 3rd time part of the charm. And you know, it's a huge investment if the town moves ahead with it. And so need to put it in that perspective. So
Kewaunee
thanks.
County just doing bug tussle. I heard that they're gonna be over 90% served.
Yep.
With
Yeah,
this
they've
grant.
gotten their 3rd grant.
Yeah, 3rd
Yeah,
grant.
they did it as a county,
Yeah, it's a
Right.
county.
yes.
Come on, Hugh.
Okay.
That's not gonna happen here.
Do you want anything from the visitor?
That's been
bureau?
made very clear,
Sure,
that's not
if you'd
gonna
like.
happen.
Here, let me,
Ventura County.
Ms. Waite would like to discuss the Visitors Bureau a little bit.
Okay, Door County Tourism Zone, we meet, our next meeting is this Thursday, but from our last meeting, so as of August of this year, there are now 1,420 permits issued, compared with 1,338 permits last year. The majority of those new permits are short-term rentals, private homes, cabins, and such. And Airbnb has put out notice that if the property is continually getting complaints about disruptive parties or constant events such as wedding receptions or whatever, they would ban them from listing on the Airbnb website. So, just a reminder, on our town website, if something's going on at a short-term rental that isn't supposed to be going on, you can document that by just going to our website, and you can do it anonymous. So just a reminder there. Like I said, we'll learn more on Thursday. Destination Sturgeon Bay, I went to their meeting on July 27th. The Cherries Jubilee Art Street project, this auction, so if you've seen all the cherries around town, they all go up for auction. There is already a bid of $15,000 on one of those cherries. So some very fortuitous person has.
Wood
put it.
orchards or what?
I don't know. But, I mean, it's a fundraiser, obviously. So, good for them.
Anything else?
Yeah, that's right.
That's it? All right, we'll move on. We have a county board report from District 14 Supervisor Hugh, who just happens to be here this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I sent out a note to the Madam Clerk with a summary of the activities over the last month for the county board. I'm just going to highlight a few of them in the interest of time. One is we looked at our first draft capital budget, and that was reviewed, and now we'll go through the process of doing a detailed budget setup going in for 2023 and the next 5 years. Other major action at the county board meeting was the approval of the report for the amendment to the zoning map for the Drossett property, as well as approval of the amendment for rezoning, again, consistent with what was recommended by the town board, so that passed as well. Relative to the assigned committees that I work on, as the chair of the broadband committee, I just want to echo what Supervisor Vogel said about completing the WISER survey. It's important. I want to dispel a couple of things or misconceptions. One is if someone thinks they have broadband service, it's important to make sure you do the survey, especially if you even have satellite. Because the satellite service in most of our areas here would be considered underserved in the way that they're looking at funding to meet the minimum of 25 megabit download and 3 megabit upload. And I was at a few one establishment having a few sodas where they have satellite broadband. And I won't name the name of the vendor, but I said, you likely are considered underserved because that standard and performance is so low, based on the Finley study where they